I've got a good one planned for today. We're going to be discussing bass fishing techniques, specifically during the winter time or during colder weather. Well, stay tuned and find out here on this episode of That Fishing Podcast.
This is Steve Rogers with Steve Rogers Outdoors, and you're listening to That Fishing Podcast. Sit back and enjoy.
Yo, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. Or if you're new, welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, That Fishing Noob, and let that be a disclaimer. The things you're about to hear are from the perspective of a noob. But it's okay. I'm no professional bass angler. I'm just a person who likes to go out on a little plastic boat and try to catch little green friends. Real quick though, the year of 2026, and really in the last, it feels like maybe the last year, but there has been a really big push on AI related things, AI creation, AI videos, AI driven things where it's like people really aren't part of the process as much anymore, like real people. So me personally, I'm really big into music, but when I find out that an artist is AI generated, it's like I can't really, like, even if it's my jam and it sounds good, it's like, but I still prefer there to be a soul behind the lyrics. I still feel that there should be emotion behind the lyrics, behind the song. And that kind of goes for anything, whether it is art or if it is, content creators, reviews and all that. I would prefer it to still be a real person that has a beating heart, has a soul, has a mind, that is giving me information. And, the information might be flawed, and that's okay. That's part of the human process. Humans are flawed. So I ask that you consider who it is that you're supporting. Maybe it doesn't matter to you, or maybe it does. But for me, I really prefer to go support real people. But enough of that. On with today's topic. We're going to be discussing how to figure out these bass when it's cold. Now, obviously, if your body of water is frozen over, you can't really get a kayak out onto it, and you're not going to be fishing for bass that way. You might be ice fishing. I have zero experience with ice fishing here in Texas. It just doesn't happen. We don't get ice like that here. So a couple thoughts, couple processes of how to find bass, how to locate them, how to target them, how to catch them. Primarily going to be from the kayak, but the same techniques can also extend out to the bank. It's just going to take a little bit more legwork. So the first thing, whenever I'm going out to a body of water and I know it's cold, without even having electronics to tell me that the water temp is cold, you can kind of gauge it based off of what the lows have been in your area. So for example, over here in South Texas, the lows have been below freezing, but not enough for things to freeze over. So last night the low was 27. And I know that the water temp isn't going to be 27, but it's going to be like maybe low 40s, probably. Maybe upper 30s. Because it's been, I think it's been 5 days or so with temps around upper 20s, low 30s. So, the water temp is going to be sitting above that. But the first thing when I'm going out, I'm going to be looking for areas that will heat up quickly. So rocks and wood heat up quickly compared to other deeper areas. So depending on the time of day, in the early morning, that water is still going to be really cold. But as the sun comes up, as the water starts warming up, I'm going to start targeting those areas that I believe the water is going to be warmer. Where the warmer water is, there should be fish as well. So these fish, they are cold-blooded. They're not going to be going through and, regulating their body temps. They react to the temperature of the water. So their metabolism also fluctuates according to how hot or how cold it is. During the summertime, their metabolism is crazy quick because it's so warm. But during the wintertime, as that water temperature lowers, their metabolism is going to lower as well. So early morning, before the sun comes up, I'm going to be targeting areas of cover or areas that I feel there might be some fish around. I think the biggest thing is wherever it is I'm targeting, whether it be vegetation, whether it be cover, or submerged timber or drop off, whatever I'm throwing around those areas, I'm going to fish it extremely slow. Now, my go-to whenever it's cold is normally either a jig or a Texas rig. More likely than not, it's going to be a Texas rig with a smaller soft plastic on it. And I'm going to make as accurate of casts as I can, and I'm going to fish things very, very slow. And like what I've heard is, even when you think that you're fishing it slow, chances are you're still fishing it too fast. These fish, when it's cold, they're not going to be swimming around and kind of exploring and, really spunky. They're going to be lethargic and slow. And with their slower metabolism too, they don't need to eat a whole lot. So you could still throw a larger profile if you're trying to target larger fish, but it's one of those that I feel like the larger the profile, the less percentage it's going to get hit, the less likely that it's going to get hit. Versus throwing a medium to a smaller profile, you open up the opportunity to different size fish. And I mean, hey, any fish is a fun fish whenever you're going out and fishing, right? Any fish is better than a skunk. So in the morning time, I make an accurate cast over to where I think there to be fish, whether it be cover, whether it be edge of the weeds, whether it be vegetation, and I'm going to be fishing really, really slow. Now, when the sun comes up and things start warming up, I'm going to target those areas that should be warming up quicker, hoping that the bass are going to congregate around those warmer bodies of water, or warmer areas rather. And same thing, I'm still going to be fishing really slow. So for example, let's say if I had a spinnerbait tied on and I was throwing at, let's say there was submerged timber and a brush pile nearby it, I would go through, make a cast, and really just work that spinnerbait as slow as possible back towards me. Compared to like if it was warmer out and I made the same cast in the same area, I'd be fishing that thing a lot faster than during the wintertime when it's cold. Other presentations, so like a wacky or a drop shot, or let's say if you had a weightless soft plastic like a weightless fluke, those all, like everything that you're throwing, should all be thrown and fished really slow. So like you really can't fish a wacky too fast, but fish it slower when it's cold. Weightless fluke, instead of giving it like twitch, 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 pause, like just give it like one twitch and just let it dead stick for a while. Now, let's say you're throwing out, a jerkbait, same thing, instead of going through and you're doing like a twitch, 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 pause, you might want to make it just a twitch, twitch, pause, and then have that pause be an elongated, extended pause. To be really honest, I haven't done a whole lot of fishing during the wintertime on a kayak in bigger bodies of water, so I'm not really familiar with a jerkbait bite, but the fish that I have caught during the wintertime when it has been cold, they've reacted to a slower technique, a slower retrieve. And some of the biggest fish that I've caught have been on a Texas rig and kind of just going through and fishing really slow, like almost painfully slow. Now, color profiles, I still say throw the same kind of color profiles that you would normally throw, or that I think I would normally throw. So like a lighter profile, a darker profile, and see what they want to react to. As far as what types of profiles to throw, I've had success throwing little punch bug profiles, sometimes little crawl profiles in like a black and blue, or like a watermelon red, or a lot of the times, the tried and true Senko is a great profile to throw out. For a drop shot, kind of like a stealth worm, like a half worm, or maybe like a little Damiki rig, something smaller profile to go through and entice those fish. Now, like I mentioned, these techniques can go through and be applied to the bank as well. You would just have to put in more legwork. So as you're going and walking around the pond or around the lake or wherever it is that you're fishing, target areas that should heat up. So for example, a lot of the times when you're fishing from the bank, there might be docks. So instead of walking out to the dock, stand to a point where you can cast out to the little piers on the dock and see if there are fish, especially if the sun's up. See if fish are congregating around those little piers that, extend down into the water column. And if they're willing to go through and have a quick snack before they go back into hibernation. Or if you're walking along the bank and you see some big old boulders, some big rocks that are, even if they're, not in the deepest water, shallow water is going to heat up faster than deeper water. So rocks in more shallow water, I think you'd be surprised with fish that are kind of congregating up there, especially if it's like there's rocks, but then there's also little areas where they can kind of chill around and kind of back themselves into and ambush from. The thing is, even though it's cold, fish still need to eat. Their metabolism is just a lot slower than during the summertime, so they don't need to eat as much, but they still need to eat. So recap, just if you're out there fishing on the kayak, be safe. Make sure you have a wetsuit at least if you're going to be out there fishing in some really, really cold weather. But the name of the game for fishing when the water is cold is slow down. And when you think that you're fishing slow enough, chances are you're probably still fishing too fast. So slow down. Make some accurate casts. Don't worry about covering a ton of water. Pinpoint where warmer sections of water are, where there's also some cover nearby, maybe some vegetation, and make some accurate casts, and then just be patient. You gotta be really patient and fish really slow. A lot of the times the bites are the same. You'll still feel that tap tap, and you'll still feel that, that big thud, and then sometimes that fish will still swim off, but sometimes it's that tap tap and then just pause. So you're gonna have to check your line. Go through and raise your rod tip up, see if there's some pressure, see if there's some weight. And if so, hey, hook sets are free. If you think there's a fish, set the hook. And worst case scenario, you swing, it's a miss, and your lure comes flying out of the water at 50,000 miles per hour, and hopefully it doesn't peg you in the face. But best case scenario, you go through, set the hook, and all of a sudden, start feeling some head shakes and some resistance and a fish swimming away. Bass fishing in the winter is definitely slow, is definitely more difficult, but it can be rewarding. I've caught some really big bass during the wintertime. I feel like the biggest bass that I've caught have come when the water is colder and my profiles are smaller. But it comes with fishing slow, fishing patient, making accurate casts. And the good thing is, summertime, you want to beat the heat. With winter fishing, you don't need to get up at, the crack of dawn and be the first one out at the body of water. You can afford to go fishing in the afternoon. You can afford to go fishing, after the sun's up and after it's warmed up. The fishing is probably going to be better around that time anyhow. But that's it for this one. Nice little quick short episode. Appreciate you guys for stopping by and listening. Or just having this run in the background as you fall asleep. That works too. But make sure to leave a rating, drop a comment, say what's up, say hello, share it with all your people. So with that, I hope that you are able to go fishing. And if you are fishing, I hope that you're able to catch a big one. But I'll catch you on the next one. Tight lines, and God bless.